Okay, having reached the peak of the Mount Alodial again, you see the vastness of the downside all around you. Leaves you deep in thoughts regarding which of your companions ought to go free this night, as Rookie did last time. Okay, let's see if we have any opinions. Oh, Wilfred. Wilfred looks upon you, looks up as you approach and smiles. Looks upon you, yes. I never thought that I would say such things, my boy, but it is good to wear the raiments in the rights once more. The march of time does have a way of healing certain hurts. Besides, the Nightwings of today, we are a very different beast than the Triumvirate which took me in almost a decade ago. Ours was a Triumvirate of exactly 3. Well, 4 with Tizo, who proved to be an exception. Though historically, the Nightwings never took on more exiles than needed. I have mentioned my predecessor, Brighton, and my former companions, Ariza and Orlek. Perhaps naively, I had hoped my time with them would not be relevant directly to what we now attempt. But seeing as our stories are now intertwined, do let me know if there is more you wish to learn of them. Let's ask about Orlek, because Orlek is the most relevant of the former Nightwings right now, considering Orlek is the only one left who is directly, going to affect us. Ask about what Orlek was like when he and Wilfred first became acquainted. Wilfred remained silent for some time. I was very, very sick, When I first landed the downside, the long trip down the river must have been a little much for me. It was Orlek who found me. He could not have known of my capacity to read before he revived me. He was a physician, intolerant of the sight of suffering of any kind. Not just any physician, mind you, a gifted, highly decorated one. He served on the front. Back then skirmishes erupted frequently, and those such as Orlek, they had to deal with many casualties on either side. In time, he said he grew repulsed by what he saw. This sowed in his heart a yearning for an end to all the bloodshed, so he tried to use his status to negotiate a treaty with the Highwing Remnants. Must have gone about how you would expect. He was given direct orders to return to the front, but when he refused to soil his hands again, they cast him to the downside. Here he gained the notice of the Nightwings, and before long he grew to be one of the finest rite conductors anyone had ever seen. He was instrumental in the liberation of his companions, whose roles in the Triumvirate were later filled by Riza and me. In time, Orlek's own opportunity for freedom had come up. He longed for it, so that, with his exalted status, he might stand a better chance of negotiating a peace. However, on the evening of his liberation, well, you know the story from that point. Wilfred breathes a heavy sigh. He and I were kindred spirits for a time. I could not bear to think that he was gone, and now I still cannot entirely believe that he is back. He is our adversary now, transformed, grown cold. Still, part of me is happy that he lives. Make no mistake, of course, I shall not be swayed against our plan, not by Orlek or anyone. As I have said before, we share a higher calling now. As for Orlek, he wants his freedom, still, although I wonder if he still remembers why. Anyway, was there anything else, my boy? Sure, let's ask about Brighton, because Brighton is the second character that actually somehow, well, to an extent, affects us all. You inquire about Brighton, who you understand was liberated prior to when Wilfred first joined the Nightwings. I never met Brighton in person, but I know him rather well by now. Though, for that matter, my boy. So do you. Yep. Brighton is a mutual friend of ours. He studies your reaction for a moment, and then... Bryson was born wealthy, but not special otherwise. You would have no reason to have heard of him. He was exiled for negligent misconduct. I do not know exactly why, and I do not care for spreading rumors. I first heard of him through Arisa and Orlek, who found in me a suitable replacement following his liberation. I spoke little of him. Orlek gave the impression that they did not see eye to eye, but he assured me I soon would hear from him myself. Indeed, as I became accustomed to the book, which you now know well by now, I soon began to hear the voice. Wolfred looks at you, as if to see if you yet take his meaning. You see, my boy, after Brighton's liberation, he assumed a new identity within the Commonwealth, and a new responsibility to the Triumvirate which liberated him. That voice you hear from time to time, whensoever the stars align, it's his. He is no longer Brighton. He is now none other than the Archjustice Androbolus the Ninth himself. Liberated exiles retain certain burdens to their old triumvirates. They have much to thank them for, not just their freedom but their exalted status in the Commonwealth. The theocratic rulers of the Commonwealth, they do not wear masks and raiment simply for the sake of ceremony. They are not who they appear to be. Their public pasts are nothing but a fabrication. Like Brighton, they once were exiles too. Brighton, that voice, he has no love for either one of us now. He knows full well that what we attempt to do, yet he is bound by the traditions of the rites. He shall always stand on ceremony and complain, but I think he knows deep down that he is powerless. How ironic that one of such high status in the Commonwealth should be so frightened of some long-forgotten exile such as we. Anyway, that's Brighton for you. He must have seen in you the potential to be one of his staunch supporters for a time. If that's a path you'd wanted to pursue, I should apologize. Now then, whom else should we talk about? Let's hear about Erisa or Erisa. I'm going to just go with Erisa at this point. Ask about Erisa, who you understand betrayed Orlek at the moment of his liberation, but then perished in the Shimmer Pool. I'm afraid you know the brunt of it, my boy. But I suppose you ought to know something of Erisa's past, lest you be quick to judge her solely by her actions. Mind you, I would never make excuses for the terrible choice she ultimately made, but her life, I understand, was very difficult. Erisa had been exiled for the foulest of acts. You could see it plainly branded on her face, such was the heinousness of what she did in the eyes of the Commonwealth. She was an apprentice blacksmith in her youth, taking up the post left by her brother. He had fallen in battle on the blood border, despite wielding their father's own lance and armor. Her father never quite recovered after this. Let me just quickly refresh the page. Her father never recovered after this and had grown cruel and detached. It was Erisa who took the brunt of his fury. He expected the impossible of her. One day, he was all too much for her. So when next he lashed out at her, well, she struck back. She struck back again and again and again. When they came for her, her father was gone, and she was not herself. She was promptly cast into the downside for the crime, where her hatred for the Commonwealth only grew. Erisa always was intense in her demeanor, haunted by her father's memory. More than that, her chief motive for wanting back her freedom was, in hindsight, not a healthy one. She longed to join our nation's enemies, to build the High-Wing Remnants a great siege engine that could shatter the defenses of the Commonwealth, and forever end our feud. What she ultimately did to Orlek was an act of pure and thoughtless desperation. I do not think that it was simply evil, nor do I think that it was personal. I often wondered though, if in her final moments in the Shimmer Pool, she understood what she had done and the depths to which she had fallen. For many years, I must admit I hated her, but now my only hope is that she found a peace untenable during her relatively short life in the Downside and the Commonwealth. Furthermore, I hope that the life of Erisa offers some perspective, yet to those of us who have not made the same mistakes. Now then, was there anything else? Bid him farewell. There is nothing else to talk about. You bid Wolfred a good afternoon and leave him with his memories. My pleasure, Rita. Reflecting on the past from time to time helps demonstrate how far we've come, yet how much farther we still have to go. Yep. Truly a sad tale. Hey guys, so like, I don't know what's going on up there with all of them stars acting real weird and stuff, but let me tell you something here. You ain't gonna find a better deal on all this stuff from anybody. I mean, anybody in the Downside. You can trust me when you can trust me when I tell you that, okay? So go ahead, stock up. Okay. You can have this berry. Is there anything else that I really want? I don't think there is really anything I really want to use here. Already going to set things up so that we know what we're going to be using. Okay, we're going to bring in Gilman, because Gilman just got the new ability and we can make use of Gilman. We could go with double leeching, Flame Leech plus the Righteous Flame, which is basically the best way to get a whole lot of recovery back. Or we could play it safer and just equip the Right Light to give us one more extra chance to come back. Do I want to play it safe? I think I might. Although we could possibly get more than 20... Like... For this not to be worth it, we would have to get... like... 2 hits in with Xay. And we have Gilman doing a little bit of restoration already, and Gilman is more likely to make it through than Xay. Flame Leech is nice, but it's only like really nice with a high damage character, and like frankly the high damage characters cannot make it across. You have to be playing really offensive Joe Daryl or something. I'm just like worried about a potential failure, and I might want another extra chance with the Right Light. That might keep us alive for one more turn. We'll think about it. Must be our lucky day here, or I don't know what, Dad. Yep. It is only one more hit, but it's still one more hit. Once more you have gained the Fall of Solium. where one of you may go free, but first you shall have to prevail against the withdrawn in the liberation rite. And I don't like this. I don't like this at all. Reader, your companions are gathered here under the fall. They shall be counting on you. Thank you. Indeed, as the cycle of the rites turns ever faster, so too is our plan set in motion. My agents in the Commonwealth are beginning to cause a bit of a stir out there. The word has reached high places that the rites are ending. This is our chance, though let us not despair should victory elude us here. We shall make the most of whatever the scribes may have in store for us. That is to say, good luck, my boy, this time. Yeah, that's true. So it doesn't really matter. It's ultimately it results in the same thing happening, and we need to offset this with the Ashen Cold, because otherwise we're just going to be bad. Yeah, I know the withdrawn are horrible. When I played this, when I did my first run of this, I lost to the withdrawn in a liberation rite. That's the only time when I lost a liberation rite during that run. Okay, we do not want the extra stamina for them because we want them to be slow. Limbless is still probably the better one. Dullness, I don't like it, but do we honestly have anything better? If we pick Sylvia's, then we are always going to be up against a 3v3 or a 2v3. It's never going to be in our favor. Unfathomed learns. Everyone is fast. That's horrible. Shax is going to be even more horrible. Islach I fear. And Archbeast is... they get extra 30. So we would have to play really well to offset the Archbeast, and we cannot directly offset it anyway. Like, we cannot do anything to just bring them down 30 health instantly. So I think Limbless Arizek is still the way to go, but I don't like it. And the Dullness Locket is also bad. It's like only bad options anymore. Like, I have to bring in all of these. And it's only going to get worse. Next time it's going to have to be like, I'm going to have to bring in the Time Singer. And then after that I'm going to have to bring in the Archbeast or Shax or Sylvia's. Okay, I think we're going to go with this setup. I'm not sure if this plays against or plays to their advantage. Well, obviously it does, but to what extent, of course. But I'm going to go with it. It's like the best setup I know. And we beat the Chastity with that setup, so it should be doable. We just need to be very careful.
Once more, the Nightwings gain the summit of the sacred Mount Alodiel to conduct the liberation rite. Even as the stars themselves abandon you.
Oh, hush now.
Make good upon these final opportunities, reader. This glorious age-old tradition coming to an end upon your watch. I trust your adversaries, the withdrawn, shall not throw away this chance. Choose now who may go free, should they unfortunately fail.
It's actually really bad when the voice is in favor of the withdrawn. The pyres burn, and each of the triumvirates is present and prepared. I concur. The pyres burn, and each of the triumvirates is present and prepared. Then, anointed one of the withdrawn, come forth now and declare yourself and pay any respects you have unto your adversaries, the Nightwings. The bog dweller Udmilde appears in front of, from the shadows and reaches for a mask. We are known to be which Udmilde are adversaries. They are nothing to us. or the one we serve. He shall be devoured in the coming age, an age of strife, brought down by her fell beings and many seeing eyes of Islach the Astralborn. You speak blasphemy upon this sacred site, Udmilda. If you value your liberty, then I suggest you cease your mocking of the scribes. The scribes, they failed to stop Islach, and he shall rise again. As for ye, Nightwings, ye are of no consequence in Islach's grand design. He dons her mask once more. Soon we shall return unto the land which Islach shall usurp, where we shall offer him our blood, and that of many, many others. Nightwings, your decision. On whose behalf shall you conduct the liberation rites? I think at this point we just want the original trio to get free. Rita, I would ask you to choose wisely, but I am sure you know no other way. And you prepare your song, Tarek. Of course, Celeste.
Whom do you intend to liberate?
It has to be Jodariel. Okay, let's see. Frozen Soul. At the start of the rite, the adversary's Pyre automatically suffers damage. Ouch. Yeah, that sucks. When flinging the orb into the yada yada yada. Bonus damage, bonus damage. Okay, so they don't have any way of recovering their Pyre, which is good. We can make use of, but they will recover 5 Pyre every time they actually score because of one of the Titan stars. Okay, well, we are going to have to anoint Jodariel has to go free.
Jodariel.
If that is your wish.
Who shall
It is.
lend her support?
We need to bring in Gilman and say Jody O'Rias. Yep.
Sir Gilman.
Such an honor for it is for this knight to strive on behalf of the good Jodariel. And let's bring Say.
Zay.
Oh, I can help. I think I can help.
Very well.
Soon, Isla. Very soon we shall release thee. We shall release thee. And as for ye, Nightwings, we have much in store for ye. Okay.
Commence.
Rise is flame. No. Good for you, Jody. Good for you. Ah, frick. Almost. Whoa. Ah, frick. Oh, frick. Yeah, this is not going to go well, is it? Isla, we invoke thee, Horus, for we seek thy ancient strength. Before all our enemies within thy blood, damnation to the Nightwings, Damnation, the scribes. Invocation of the Islach, your adversary, which Udmilde's curse shall summon forth dark pools of banishing ichor, wheresoever any exile is banished there this night. Yes! Let's keep this up, keep this up. Ah, frick. Oh, no, no, no. Frick. Missed. These kinds of mistakes should not happen. What? Well, at least we are still alive, but we're barely alive.
Fire of resolve. A blow against the adversary's pyre.
It's close.
Now go on, just once more. And there it is, at last. The Nightwings proved their worth.
Noxalas!
An outcome which left little room for doubt. Thus ends the liberation rite. And thus the scribes have chosen the exile appointed by the Nightwings shall be free. Absolved of all misdeeds, return to glory in the Commonwealth. Her adversary and all others shall remain to carry out their rightful sentences.
Know that this affront against Islach has been recorded, and his vengeance shall darken the skies. After all this time, she turns her gaze towards the rest of you. I never thought this day would come. I have all of you to thank for this, for doing this for me. The life that I recall back in the Commonwealth was at times difficult. I am much older now. I know not what I shall find on my return. However, I know this: that place still is like the Commonwealth I left so long ago, then I shall strive to make it better, for as long as I retain my strength and breath. See her smile faintly as she disappears into the shimmer pool, though you still can hear her voice, though faintly now. Farewell then, Rita, all of you, for now. And may Jodariel return in glory.
Godspeed, Captain Jodariel. The 8 scribes are watching from afar. By their grace, may the cycle of the rites keep turning for as long as possible.
I feel so overwhelmed, I think, because the scribes, I think they speak to me and lift me up whenever I begin to think that I'm going to fall. Okay, ooh. Yeah, banished while jumping, she shall instantly return at her origin. Ooh, this. Yep, most definitely. That's awesome. That might have been the last one we liberate, but at least we liberated someone. And, best of all, against the Withdrawn, whom I have feared since the first time I freaking met them in this game.
Until the turning of the stars, farewell.
You return to the wagon after having prevailed against the Withdrawn in the Liberation Rite. Such the glorious night this turned out to be. Do you think Jodariel is already home? He succeeded in liberating Jodariel, who returned to the Commonwealth in glory. We have but a few such liberation rites remaining. Exactly how many, I do not wish to speculate about as yet, until such time as we can better say for certain. Under no circumstances should I suggest this is ideal, however, it is opportunity enough that our plan may, as yet, succeed. Although all the setbacks, I fear. Wolfred trails off and falls silent. Some of the others exchange looks, they're beginning to understand. With the rite soon ending, everything which Wolfred has sought, both on his own and for many years... Wolfred has sought both on his own for many years, and now with all of you, all of it may have been in vain. The hush spreads to the others. But not to you. You then proceed to do something that none of them seem to expect. You raise your voice. Each of your fellow exiles turns to you, their expressions asking you a question with no easy answers. What are we going to do? As you meet Xay's gaze, the words for the occasion begin to crystallize in your mind. You are searching for the right words, as all your fellow exiles are looking to you now. You are searching for the right words, having reached this turning point in your journey. You tell them that you have stood together time after time throughout this quest and are now poised to seize upon a glorious opportunity. Do we want to... You tell them that you have all struggled to come this far across the downside through the many challenges which you have faced. You tell them that you have all stood together time after time through this quest. This is a good one. And think only a hollow fool would turn back now. Your path to freedom is still laid bare before you all. True freedom is not waiting for you in the Commonwealth. Oh. None of you pursue this quest with any guarantees. It is a quest you all knew was unlikely to end well. One cannot assume that it would have a happy outcome. That's a more neutral way of putting it. The Commonwealth is already in upheaval. But something more vital is at stake. You see the imminent conclusion of the rites as a sign. It is a sign that the world is changing. This is a good one. Inspiration! Now have this opportunity to live with purpose, for your people, for all those who shall live on. These are actually good ones, all of them. For each other, that's even better. Let's focus it on our group. When you look at it that way, which side of the world you end up on is up to all of you, to each one of you in your own way. Whether you achieve your freedom is up to all of you, to each one of you in your own way. I guess that's a good one. After a brief period of reflection, you share one last sentiment with the group. We have to keep going until we are free. And you join others in silence. Thus, do you remain together with your thoughts? No one speaks for a time, then. Ah, the struggles you describe, O Master Rita, it has been glorious indeed. Wherever you shall lead this knight shall follow without stopping once even to think. Thou wouldst dare to change this ancient world, reading one, yet thy words are tinged with certain truths. May long the stars remain alight for you, reader sir. All the while Wolfred remains watching you intently, and his expression softens and he smiles. You are right, of course, my boy. We are the Nightwings. It is precisely as you said. We have to keep going, until we are free. Lead us then, Rita, to the end of our quest, and the dawn of the new age for all our kin. Everyone, for the Nightwings! Noxalis! Everyone responds in kind. They stand with you, no matter what. They await the outcome of your vision of the stars, which burn with renewed fury, because now the last rites beckon. Each one of the Nightwings gained +1 hope, permanently. We have to keep going, until we are free. The stars above now burn with what appears a desperate fury, many more of them than usual. Your path is yours to choose amid a myriad of stars. Look upon them all. The stars of the 8 scribes, they shine together now, as one. The lone minstrel draws breath, as though surprised by what he sees. He backs away and averts his eyes. This is another sign the rites are soon to cease. Few chances yet remain to confront the adversaries you have met during your journey. Okay. Up next is the Dissidents as the highest. And I actually do want to see the Dissidents in the Liberation Rites, because they have the best rendition of the Never to Return song. So, what we shall do instead of fighting off the Dissidents is we shall kick the others down. We might do so with the Pyre Hearts, possibly with the Chastity. I'm not sure about the Accusers. The Accusers are a little bit... If I lose to them, then they will take the spot, and I don't want that. So let's avoid the Accusers and let's try some of these other ones, like the Pyre Hearts or the Chastity. So let us see where they might be hiding. That's the Fates, and that's the Tempers, that's Accusers, and the Essence. Udmilde is there, Dissidents are there. There we go. Sir Deluge of the Pyre Hearts. We shall beat them into submission next time. Is this night to understand that we shall soon confront Sir Deluge and the Pyre Hearts once more? Then this is to be a most exciting time. This knight's one-time commanding officer, imagine if you will, a worm without the slightest trace of bravery. Sir Gilman then recants his tale of Sir Deluge's past and how it is that they wound up together in the downside. Sir Deluge, a worm knight of the Sea Dominion, a former ally of Sir Gilman. He lacks a sort of courage for which his kind is known, yet somehow leads the Pyre Hearts anyway. Some worms born on the sea, under the Sea Dominion's waters sought life's meaning on dry land. The Commonwealth recognized their chivalrous traditions and soon put them to use. Sir Deluge was just another bit of the frontline fodder in the war against High-Wing remnants, yet time and again he distinguished himself for one simple reason: he would not die. His unusual instinct for self-preservation kept him safe in many battles, and over time he was repeatedly promoted for lack of any real competition. Then in the Battle of the Spiral Sanctum, when retreat certainly was not an option, Sir Deluge retreated anyway. This was a breaking point, and he was at last sentenced into exile. In the downside, he sought water, where he made contact with Sir Gilman and other members of his kind. They all saluted him as their superior. The other knights had little choice but to respect his rank. As the Pyrehearts, they conduct the rites in the name of their great hero, the Under King Ores, while adhering to their strict code. This knight might not have failed quite so miserably at the Battle of the Spiral Sanctum had his entire regiment not turned in disarray after Sir Deluge fled. Perhaps by confronting his former commander, this knight's own honor may be regained in part. For now, however, this knight must beg your leave. You say goodnight to Sir Gilman in turn. There is no time to make flight preparations now, though in the morning you will press on once again. Okay, let's check who is here. Oh, the Lone Minstrel. After the liberation of Jodariel, you find the Lone Minstrel back in the wagon, looking as though no such thing had just occurred this night. You think you see him tilt his head as you approach.
Looks at his house.
Some words of congratulations are in order for this evening, I should think. Reader, and so congratulations on prevailing in the liberation rite. Surely Jodariel shall be most grateful, and her safe return unto the Commonwealth ought to benefit the plan in which you all play a part. As for your adversaries the Withdrawn, this must have been a bitter loss for them, and Udmilde, although they must have known their chance was far from certain. Thus shall we all await the next turn of the cycle of the rites. Celeste and I are to return to our respective duties for the time, as now Scribe Gate is sealed. I await when next we all shall meet. When next you may yet live up to the glory of the Nightwings in the eyes of the 8 scribes, which yet shine down for us. He trails off, then nods to you in his cordial manner and bids you a good rest of the evening. Indeed. Okay, well that means we are down to 5. And the ones that are up next for liberation are Xay, Gilman, and Pamitha. And indeed, next time we shall... Oh, one thing I need to make sure, we just need to harvest these every now and then. Next time, we shall meet the Pyrehearts once again. We shall kick them down, and then we shall hope that we meet the dissidents in the liberation rites, because even if we don't win, at least we'll go out with a bang, because the dissidents have such an amazing theme. But we have liberated quite a few people already, and so far it's going well. If we can somehow keep this up, then we might even be able to possibly liberate one more. But I don't think, like, after that it's going to get so difficult, because we're going to have to pick so many difficult Titan stars, and they're only going to get stronger over time. They're not going to get any weaker, so we shall see. But for now, we will leave it here.